One
One
mind,
mind,
One
one
idea,
idea,
endless
endless
possibilities.
you're
possibilities. You're
listening
listening
to
to
Podcast
Podcast
101,
101.
Start
Start
here, the
here, the
essential
essential
podcast
podcast
live from
live from
American
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 Corner,
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 Pontianak.
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 Woo!
Hi
Okay.
Hi
everyone,
everyone,
I'm
I'm
Enda.
Enda.
Hi
Hi
everyone, and
everyone,
I'm
and I'm
Dila.
Dila.
So
So
today we
today
aren't
we
just
aren't
telling
just
the
telling the
story,
story,
we are
we are
starting a
starting a
journey
journey
from
from
silence to
silence
on
to on
air,
air,
your
your
guide
guide
to the
to the
US
US
starts
starts
right
right
here.
here.
Okay, we are
Okay, we are
honored to
honored
have
to have
Mr.
Mr.
Anup
Anup
Mahajan as
Mahajan as
Regional
Regional
Public
Public
Engagement
Engagement
Specialist or
Specialist or
REPS from
reps
the
from
US
the US
Embassy
Embassy
Jakarta.
Jakarta.
Halo Pak
Halo Pak
Anup!
Anup.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me today.
Thank you,
Thank
Pak
you,
Anu,
Pak
for
Anu,
willing
for
to
willing to
come to our
come to our
podcast,
podcast,
our
our
first
first
podcast
podcast
101. How are
101.
you
How
today,
are you
Pak
today, Pak
Anu?
Anu?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to chat with you, and thank you to all the listeners out there too.
Yay! I
Yay!
hope
I
also
hope
all
also
the
all the
viewers on the
viewers on the
YouTube are
YouTube
doing
are doing
fine and
fine and
excited
excited
as
as
well
well
as with
as
us
with us
here
here
today to
today to
listen to
listen
our
to our
stories, to our
stories, to our
experience, and
experience,
also
and also
especially
especially
from Pak
from Pak
Anup's
Anup's
story,
story,
yeah,
yeah,
about
about
what we
what
are
we are
going to
going
talk
to
after
talk after
Yes,
this.
this.
betul. That's
Okay.
Okay.
right.
And
And
then,
then,
so
so
Dila, you
Dila,
ready?
you ready?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I'm
ready.
ready.
Pak
Pak
Anup,
Anup,
Yes.
before
yeah,
we
before we
dive into
dive
the
into the
essential, we have
essential,
a
we
quick
have a quick
podcast
podcast
101 warm
101
up
warm up
called
Oh
60
boy.
60
seconds
seconds
state
state
sprint.
sprint.
We'll
Yeah,
give
Yes.
you
we'll
two
give you two
options
options
and you
and
just
you
pick
just
one
pick one
instantly.
instantly.
Ready, Pak
Okay,
Anup?
Anup?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay,
The first
the first
question
question
is
is
coffee or
coffee or
tea?
tea?
Oh, coffee. That's easy.
Oh,
So
Okay, so
Pak Pak
Pak
Anup
Anup
prefer
prefer
coffee to
coffee
tea,
to tea,
yeah.
yeah?
Can I
Yeah,
ask
tea
why?
just doesn't do it for me. It's not strong enough.
oh,
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 so you
so
you
Yeah.
like
you like
the light
the light
coffee?
coffee?
I like strong coffee. I like it black,
Oh,
no milk, no cream, no sugar, just straight up.
for
Oh, for
example, like
example, like
Americano?
Americano?
Yes, like an americano. Yep.
Do you like
Do you like
Americano?
Americano?
No.
No.
Oh.
If this
If this
question for
question
me,
for
I
me,
will
I
pick
will pick
tea because
tea
I do
because
not
I do
like
not like
something so
something so
strong.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I
But
For me,
like
Indonesia
coffee.
has so much good coffee. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's
that
okay.
is okay.
Pak
Yes,
Anu.
Pak Anu.
No, I was gonna say, I'm like, it's surprising because Indonesia has so much good coffee.
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes,
do.
we
And
do.
we
And we
know that
know
Pak
that
Anu
Pak Anu
was
was
here
here
at
at
Pontianak,
Pontianak, in
yeah,
Pontianak, yeah,
last year,
That's
I
last year,
think.
right.
I think.
That's
And
right.
I
And
heard
I
that
heard
you
that you
already
already
tried
tried
our
our
specialty of
specialty of
coffee, yeah,
coffee,
here
yeah, here at
in
in
Pontianak. I
Pontianak.
heard
I
that
heard
you
that
went
you
to
went to
AMI.
AMI.
Oh,
Oh,
ASEAN.
ASEAN.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ASEAN
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yes, I did. I did. It was
That's
quite the
great.
experience.
yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
quite
Quite
popular here
popular here
in
in
Pontianak.
Yeah.
Pontianak.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
Okay,
let's go to
let's
the
go to the
next
next
Okay.
options,
options,
Pak Anu.
Pak Anu.
New York
New York
City
City
or
or
LA?
LA?
New York City.
Why?
Why?
Well, so I'm from New York.
Ah,
I'm from New York State. I grew up north of New York City in a place called Poughkeepsie. And then I lived and worked in New York City for a long time, but in a previous life. So I love New York.
Okay.
I love all things about it. So I'm very partial to New York.
wow.
Indeed, New York
Indeed,
is
New
a
York
big,
is
is a
is a
beautiful
beautiful
city.
city.
I
Yeah.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
Have you been
Have you
there?
been there?
No, but
No, but
Someday.
someday
someday,
I
yeah,
plan
I
it.
One
someday,
day,
one
one
day,
day,
one
one
day,
day.
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
One
Yeah.
day.
Okay, the
Okay,
next
the next
question.
question.
Movie or
Movie or
book, Pak
book,
Anu?
Pak Anu?
Ooh, oh boy, that's a hard one. I'm gonna go with being today is a Friday. I'm gonna go with movie.
Oh,
Oh,
Friday?
Friday?
Is
Is
that
there
Is that
movie?
movie?
Well, when I want to relax and I just want to not, I want to shut my brain off and not have to do
Okay,
anything,
got it.
I'll watch a movie. A book requires a little more brain power, so I have to be more awake for that.
So it
It
depends
So
on the
depends on the
day
day
depends on the day, exactly. Exactly.
and the
and the
needs,
needs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Is there
Is there
any
any
movie
movie
recommendation
recommendation
from
from
you,
you,
Pak Anu?
Pak Anu?
Oh boy, I haven't seen anything. Wow, no, I haven't seen anything recently. Yeah, I need to
From
catch up.
how
Ah,
about you,
how about
Dila?
you,
Is there
Dila? Is
any
there
movie
any movie
recommendation for
recommendation
Pak
for
Anu to
Pak Anu
watch,
to watch,
perhaps?
perhaps?
Maybe
Well,
from
Maybe
Joko
from Joko
Anwar's
Anwar's
movie
movie
lately?
lately?
Well,
Well,
I'm
I'm
not
not
a movie
a movie
person.
person.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
I don't think
I
I
don't
can
think I
give
can
any
give any
recommendation.
recommendation.
Okay.
Okay.
But
But
I
I
think
think
Titanic is
Titanic
a
is
good
a good
movie.
movie.
Titanic,
Titanic,
paano?
paano?
What do you
What do you
think?
think?
Which one? Sorry?
Titanic.
Titanic.
Titanic. I love that movie. That's a great movie. That's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one.
Nice. Okay, we go
Okay,
to
we
the
go to the
next.
next.
Summer
Okay.
Summer
or
or
winter?
winter?
I'm gonna go with winter.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So
is that
is that
because you
because you
like
like
wearing
wearing
jackets, winter
jackets, winter
coats, or what?
clothes?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the fashion is really good in the winter. You get coats, you get nice bulky sweaters and scarves, and there's a lot more accessories. I also think, in the US at least, I miss seeing snow.
mm,
I think there's something special about snow. It's really pretty.
uh,
And then of course the holidays that come around winter, for us in the US, there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, New Year's. It's a very festive
yeah.
season. So
Cannot
yeah.
wait.
Yes.
Yay. Okay,
Um,
next. The last
The
one,
last
Pak Anu.
one,
the
Pak.
last
The last
question
question
nih.
nih.
Mac and
Mac and
cheese
cheese
or
or
rendang, Pak
rendang,
Anu?
Pak Anu?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Wow. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna be an American through and
Oh
through.
my,
Oh my,
okay.
okay.
Even though rendang tastes very good and I can have
Mm,
it every day, I'm gonna go with mac and cheese.
mm.
Yeah. But that's a tough one.
That's a tough
That's a tough
one.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Actually, it should
Actually, it
be
should be
rendang or
rendang
nasi
or nasi
goreng
goreng.
or make
Or make
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
right.
right?
Maybe
Maybe
question for next
question for
time ya
next
Pak
time
Anu
ya, Pak
ya.
Anu ya.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
That's
interesting. Yeah,
interesting.
we
Yeah,
love
we
it,
love
and
it.
I
Yeah.
And
think we
I
are
think
ready
we are
to
ready to
start our
start our
conversation
Okay.
conversation
today, Pak
today,
Anu,
Pak
with
Anu, with
you.
you.
Now
Now
Wonderful.
let's get
let's
back
get
to
back to
the
the
essentials.
essentials.
So Pak
Mhm.
So,
Anu,
Pak
to
Anu, to
begin
begin
with,
with,
could you
could you
share a
share
bit
a bit
about
about
your
your
professional
professional
journey
journey
and how
and
you
how you
eventually
eventually
step up
step
into
up
your
into your
current role
current
right
role
now
right
as
now as
the
the
regional
regional
public
public
engagement
engagement
specialist or
specialist
REP
or REPS?
at
Yeah,
Yayasan Desa
sure.
Wisata. Yeah.
Thank you for that insightful question. And you know what? Before we start formally, I just want to say thank you again to American Corner Pontianak and for all the amazing things you do. Week after week, month after month. You're such a valued partner for us, and then also a pleasure to meet you, Dila, as well. So I'm really excited to be here today. So. The challenge for me is gonna have to be brief on this kind of question because I could go on and on. But what I will say is, it's being the reps, being the regional public engagement specialist for Indonesia and other countries as well, is probably it's the highlight of my career and it's the biggest honor of my career because for two reasons. One, because I'm serving the American people and I am representing my country abroad as a diplomat. And I don't, and I take that very seriously. And I think it's a great privilege for me to have this job, and to be able to do that and to be able to travel the world and to be able to interact with so many amazing people in many different countries. So there's that. Then secondly, I think it's really the pinnacle of my career because all the other careers I had before this have led up to this moment. Being a reps, as we call it in the State Department, it combines a lot of different skill sets, right? It combines management, it combines strategic planning, it combines your kind of bread and butter diplomacy. It involves partnership management, working with students, working with young people, working with people in creative industries. So all of those things I've done in many different ways in separate careers, right? So after I studied economics as an undergraduate, and then I pursued a career in management consulting and finance for a number of years. And so that gave me, kind of the bedrock of my understanding of economies and an interest in global economy and development. And then I did a pivot for graduate school that led me to public to public administration. And so then that was really when I moved to academia, you know, and I was very interested in how can I apply what I've done, you know, in finance and in the corporate sector in academia. And so that led me to a career as a faculty member in international and foreign language
Thank you.
education. And so that really opened my doors to another facet of what we do in American Spaces, right? And so as I did that, then my career went overseas and I started doing business development for nonprofit, private sectors as well in different countries. And that gave me the toolkit of creating partnerships and strategic planning for a number of different organizations. And so when I learned about reps, you know, I'd never heard of it before. And then when I read the description, you know, for when they were hiring reps the last time around, I was like, oh my gosh, the position itself combines every single thing that I've done. It requires management skills, it requires quantitative skills, it requires partnerships, it requires broad thinking. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna and if it happens, it happens, you know, because it's very competitive to get these to have these opportunities. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna apply, forget about it until, you know, if unless I get it. And so then the rest is history. So here I am.
Wow,
Wow,
what a
what a
quite experience,
experience,
yeah,
from
from Pak Anup. And
Pak Anup.
I
And
heard
I heard
from your
from your
story that
story that
you
you
are
are
brave
brave
enough to
enough to
jump from
jump
this
from this
position to
position
another
to another
position, try
position,
new
try new
experience. And I
experience.
think
And I
that's
think that's
really
really
brave of
brave of
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I think
Anup
I
really like
really like
challenge
challenge
something
something
to
to
Yeah.
what do we
what do
say
we
like
say,
Like
like
challenge
challenge
ourselves to
ourselves,
yeah
do
yes,
new
new
things,
things,
and
Yes.
from
and from
academia to
academia to
the
the
entrepreneurship, and
entrepreneurship, and
then
then
go back
go
and
back
forth,
and
and
forth. And
then
then
right
right
now,
now,
yeah, like Pak
yeah,
Anup
like Pak
said,
Anu said,
the rest
the
is
rest
the
is the
history, and
history.
right
And
now
right
Pak
now,
Anup
Pak
is with
Anu is
us,
with us,
yeah,
yeah,
together with
together
us
with us
to
to
develop,
develop,
to
to
improve
improve
the
the
American
American
corner in
corner in
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Wow,
Yeah. I think, you
nice.
know, the point being too, thank you so much for your kind words. I think, you know, everyone's career is a journey, right? And you never know how it's the
Yeah,
all twists and turns. And so I always tell young people out there, you know, just take risks, you know, do it. If you have an interest, do it. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, take another turn and, you know, other doors will open. So yeah.
just be
Just be
brave,
brave,
yeah
like
yeah,
Pak
like
Yeah,
Anup said. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah now
now
Anup
Pak
make
Anu
me
make
and
me, and
I think
I
all of
think
us
all of us
curious, like
curious, like
have
have
you
you
ever
ever
think
think
making
making
video
video
content like
content
a
like
day
a
in my
day in my
life as a
life as a
reps?
rep?
I think
I think
that's gonna
that's
be
gonna be
news
news
things on
things on
social
social
media,
media,
and
and
everyone will
everyone
like
will
it,
like
I
it,
think.
I think.
I don't
I
know.
don't know,
Maybe is
maybe
that
Oh my
is that
gosh.
Pak
I,
Anup?
you know, I wouldn't want to put people to sleep, but I think it probably I'd like to think I'm that exciting, but I don't know. I don't know that I'd put it on
That's
as a TV show or anything, but I can say no, what I love about this job is, you know, I don't no 2 days are the same, you know? And I think and that's a function of the American Spaces and who we are and the staff that I work with here. You know, I think it's all of it. We're given this freedom. We're given a lot of ability to really think big and to really advance U.S. priorities in creative ways. And that's what I love about the American Spaces. So no 2 days are the same. One day I could be working on, you know, proposals, reviewing proposals from all of my portfolio, you know. So in addition to Indonesia, I cover the American Spaces in Malaysia, Philippines, and Timor-Leste too. So I have a very wide and busy portfolio, which you know, so on any given day I could be focusing on one of those countries only, or reviewing project funding, or on another day, like yesterday, I spent most of the day planning a workshop that I'm doing in collaboration with Beijing, and that's coming up in Taipei. Another day, I could be working with my staff on preparing for a partnership conversation for a particular American corner, or looking at possibilities for future. And then the other 50% of the time I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So I'm always on the go, from whether it's American spaces in Indonesia, or I have to go visit American spaces in Malaysia or Philippines, or so I'm always, yeah, if I'm not in my office, I'm in a plane or I'm in a car somewhere at a different American space. So it's an exciting job. It is. I think it's exciting. So yeah. The travel part is probably what I would put on social media. Maybe that would be more interesting.
Okay, Pak
Okay, Pak
Anu.
Anu.
The next
The next
question
question
is,
is,
Yes.
as a
as a
reps
reps
at the
at
US
the US
Embassy
Embassy
Jakarta,
Jakarta,
what
what
does your
does your
day-to-day
day-to-day
work
work
typically look
typically
like,
look like,
especially in
especially in
relation to
relation to
managing and
managing and
supporting
supporting
American
American
Corner
corner
across the
across the
region?
Yeah.
region?
I think you
I think you
already
already
mentioned some
mentioned
of
some
them.
of
Maybe
them.
do you
Maybe
want
do
to
you
Right.
want
add
to add
more?
more?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yes, and I think getting more specific to what corners, I think no two corners are the same, right? And that goes for around the world and also in Indonesia, right? So Pontianak, American corner Pontianak is so different from American corner Makassar or American corner Ambon, right? And so that's what makes the day-to-day work for me really exciting and unique, because on any given day, I would be working on issues or challenges that are unique to some or maybe a few of the corners. And really, and I should take a step back for a second. My role is sort of I'm sort of like at the 30,000 foot level. That's what we say in the US, right? Like I'm sort of higher level involvement in the corners, right? Not so much in the day to day, but my main responsibilities are ensuring that all of our corners and like all the networks that I oversee are properly funded. They are properly resourced, they're properly staffed. Everyone has what they need, from partners to our corner staff to our partner institutions have what they need to operate these very complicated partnerships, right? And so day to day, it's a number of those things that require my attention. And so I rely on my staff here in Jakarta and also in Surabaya and the consulate there to provide me with the information I need to know on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis in terms of what do they need? What do the corners need from the embassy, from the public affairs section, or from Washington? What kind of guidance do we need? And then also, my day-to-day involves the flip side of that. I'm also in contact with Washington all the time. And so we have an Office of American Spaces in the headquarters of the State Department in DC. And so my role is also to plug into them and make sure that I'm reporting all of the amazing things that you all are doing in this part of the world, and to ensure that they receive the updated information, and that I also get updated information from them that I can pass on to here. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, so much in Pak Anup's plate every day.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you don't ask Pak Anup to make a vlog, yeah, Dila?
Okay.
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 Okay, so
Okay.
Pak
So
Anup, wow, it was, I think,
I think
what
what
you
you
did, what
did,
you
what
do
you do
right now, what
right
you are
now, what
doing right
you do
now
right
with the
now,
team, it's
it's
so beneficial for all of us, and it's important to help our community, especially like American Corner Pontianak community here. Like Pak Anup always try to find what we can do more, what we
Right.
can do again to support our community. But yeah, that's not an easy job. We understand, but yeah, that's a great job, Pak Anup. Yeah, wow.
Thank
Do you want to be like Pak Anup, Dila, someday?
Yes, I
Oh
want.
yes, Pak Anup.
Now you're my role model.
Right now.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you. That's
Wow.
so kind of you.
Okay.
I'm always inspired by all of our corner staff. I mean, whenever I go out, even the Pontianak, for example. I mean, the volunteers and the interns and the staff. I mean, I'm just always blown away by, we have such good partners,
Wow.
and so, I want to say too, on behalf of me and my team and the embassy, none of this amazing work happens without all of you, right? And so I'm only able to do my job well when partners do their job well, right? So I mean, it goes both ways, so yeah.
We are
Thank
also happy to have you with us, Panup. Yay. So since you mentioned a couple of times about
Mhm,
the um, American Corner,
mhm.
so we are going to play right or wrong.
Okay,
Okay?
exciting.
Yes, and
Okay.
then um,
To our viewers on YouTube, you can
yes.
also
Hmm.
participate. Type right or wrong in the chat
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
First one. American Corner is basically a secret US Embassy office hidden inside a university. Right or wrong, Paano?
That is a big wrong. That is wrong, wrong, wrong. So I love this because I think this is a myth that maybe a lot of people may think or from time to time. But I think, what I can't stress enough is that an American Corner is open to the public. There are no gates, there's no clearance required, there's no appointment needed. Think of it less like an office and more like a living room. That's what I'd like to say, right? It's like when it's a shared space, right? Where you can talk about ideas, you can share information, people can move freely, you can interact with, sometimes you can interact with Americans, you can interact with Indonesians who've been to America and now they come back from exchange programs. So it really is, you know, it's a space where it's a physical space where everyone's invited. And lastly, what I'll say is, yes, it's supported by the U.S. Embassy, but it exists for the community, right? So it's not for us. It's not it's the opposite of a secret, right? I mean, it's we want to know as many people as possible, and that's why we have this program. That's why we prioritize American Spaces, because we value creating relationships between people to people, between the people of America and the people of Indonesia. So,
Okay, you heard it, guys. As Paanop said, American Corner is a space to learn, to grow together with us.
mhm.
And it is a public space,
Mhm.
so everybody can come and then enjoy our facilities and so on. Okay, Pak Anup, thank you for clarify that. For the next is it true or wrong? You are only allowed to enter or speak at the American Corner if your English skill is perfect, or you must have like a TOEFL score 600.
Oh my God. Again, absolutely fake. Wrong. That is 1,000% wrong. And in some ways, this is probably one of the most important myths, if you will, to kind of bust today, I think. Because if we allowed only people who are perfect in English and only people with a perfect 600 TOEFL score, we'd be talking about a very small group of people, right? That's a very small group of people. The whole point of American Corners is the opposite, to reach as many people as we can. And so what I always say is American Spaces and American Corners are bridges, right? They're bridges, they're not barriers. And so whether your English is intermediate, beginner, advanced, you belong there, no matter what level of English you speak, right? And one of the best reasons to come to an American Corner is to improve your English. So, I think, there's a lot of different programs and activities, and of course, American Corner Pontianak does this very well with a wider range a wide range of activities around practicing English and learning English, et cetera, et cetera. So look them up after this podcast. But your current your current level is never a reason to stay away. So in fact, if there's anything I can tell you is regardless of what your current level is, it's a reason to show up.
Okay, thank you so much, Paano, to clarify that statement. Now, my friend doesn't need to be afraid to come to American Corner. You heard it, guys?
Yeah. Okay. So the next one, you want me to do it or you?
Oh,
You.
okay. The next one, Paano, is about the
Yes.
partnership.
Yeah.
Yes, very important.
The U.S. Embassy Jakarta owns the building and the university provides the book. Right or wrong, Paano?
So, this is fake. Or sorry, wrong. So honestly, the real answer is more interesting than that, right? And it's more detailed. So the partnership works like this: the university provides the physical space and the staff. So really, the university or the partner is providing that local presence, that institutional credibility, the connection to the partner's community or the campus community. And the embassy, on the other hand, is bringing the resources, the programs, the networks, and the content, right? So it's genuinely a two-way relationship. The university gives its roots, and the embassy, we provide the reach, if that makes sense. And so neither side could do this alone, which is why I will keep mentioning over and over again in this podcast that partnership is essential, crucial, and at the heart of what American Corners do. Not only in the structure of an American Corner, like how I'm answering this question, but also in the programming that goes on, right? So even once you walk in that door, it's a partnership that provided that door for you to like walk through and that space. But then what's going to happen in that corner is also a result of partnerships more often than not. So the programming, it's the partnerships on so many levels, and that's what makes our partners in American Spaces real partners in public diplomacy, because we can't, no one side can do this alone.
I think that's crystal clear. Yeah. So, like Pak Anup said, it is like more complicated and more detailed. Yeah, and it depends on the American space. Like Pak Anup said, American Corner Pontianak is different with American Corner Makassar and so on. Yeah. And for the next, Pak Anup, is the American Corner only for students of the host university, like in Untan, or if you are from another campus or another city or high school, you cannot come to American Corner Pontianak?
False.
False.
And this is another one I'm excited to talk about because I get this question often, and sometimes even from newer partners that we have too. So let me explain. The university, regardless of where the American Corner is, whether it's a university or a public venue, the partnership is meant to be a gateway to the community. And so, yes, even though American Corner Pontianak is hosted at Untan, thank you, Untan, for the lovely, wonderful partnership over so many years. The corner also belongs to everyone in Pontianak. So the students from other universities, high school students, young professionals, educators, anyone who's curious can come to American Corner Pontianak. You don't have to be a student of Untan in order to benefit from the corner. Taking a step back, like public engagement and public diplomacy is literally in our job title at the embassy, right? It's in mine, public engagement. I'm a regional public engagement specialist. So we measure success not by, how do I put this? Not just by how many Untan students come through the door, right? But how broadly these resources and opportunities are reaching the wider community. And that's really at the heart. That's what public engagement is, right? So if you're watching this right now and you're not from Untan, you're absolutely welcome to come to the American Corner Pontianak. And there's amazing staff there, as you can see. So please do come. They're very nice.
Come to our corner. Okay.
Okay, Pak Anup. Since it's the last question, let's be
Yeah.
bold.
Okay.
The main goal of American Corner is to make everyone think exactly like an American. Right or
Oh my
wrong, Pak Anup?
Wow. That is wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong times 1,000%. Here's what I'll say about that is if that were the goal, I think we'd be very good at public diplomacy, right? I mean, but what we're really after is mutual understanding, right? And that's the word. The word mutual is what's important, right? Yes, we share American values, culture, perspectives on education, on democracy, innovation, blah, blah, all, et cetera, right? But we also want to understand Indonesia too, right? And its culture, its aspirations, what matters to young people in Pontianak. That's what I find really interesting, right? And so the best outcomes from American Corners aren't students who think like Americans, but they're actually students who can engage confidently with the world. So let me repeat that again for everybody. In my opinion, and from what I've seen, the best outcomes from American Corners are future leaders who don't necessarily have to think like Americans, but they are people who can engage confidently in the complex world that they're growing up in, and that includes the United States. But it's a unique outcome that we're looking at for people to people, right? And so, and lastly, what I'll say is connecting that even further, it's the goal. One of the reasons American Spaces, American Corners are such a priority for us is because precisely that, right? In order to get the next generation to think confidently and to think boldly and to think independently, no matter where you're from in the world, we need to equip young people with the skills that they need, the thinking that they need, the critical tools, all those things, right? And so all of that, I'm not saying American Corners can do it all, but that is our mission, right? That's one of the hallmarks of any American space is that we want to help embolden and help and help future leaders be future leaders, right? And so that's done in a variety of different ways. And so yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Wow.
Okay, so
Well said, yeah. And
yes.
I think it's a comprehensive explanation from Pak Anup about American Corner. Yeah, we say it again to our viewer. Yeah, so everyone, you are welcome to come to our American Corner. Yeah, even though it is located in Universitas Tanjung Pura, everyone is welcome. Yeah. You can
Right.
enjoy
That's
our free program. You can use our facility, yeah, in the operational hours, and also you can always keep in touch with us by following us on our social media. Like you can follow us on Instagram and then Facebook and our YouTube. Yeah.
that is right, me.
Yeah, and also I noticed Pak Anup mentioned several times about this corner is changing, yeah, and following the needs of our future generation. And I think that's really good. That's what our community needs. Like Pak Anup said, what skills do they need to enter the workforce? What skills do they need to maybe applying for scholarship and so on. And I think that's really great. Yeah, this space has a lot of things. Yeah, to explore and to have. Yeah, especially for the Gen Z, Pak Anup, like Dila.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Right. I
yeah,
mean, I'm too old for that, but yes, I mean, she,
yeah. What do you think,
yes,
Dila?
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you
Yeah, and you are also a university students. What do you think, Dila,
about.
about the American Corner Pontianak exists?
I think it really helps me for what do we say?
To connect, to improve.
Yeah, to improve my skills, especially like At first, I was afraid to talking in English, like I'm afraid everyone judge me, and then I came in American Corner, and they
Mhm.
are so welcome. So
Yeah,
yeah,
basically
Right.
this is the safe place. Yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
Pak Anup. That was a fun, right or wrong game, and I think Pak Anup already explained many things, and it is clear up misconceptions about American Corner. Okay.
okay, Pak Anup. As a student, I see how our generation's way of learning has shifted. We're
Yep.
no longer just looking for a quiet library, we're
Mhm.
looking for a hub to create and collaborate. In your
Mhm.
view, what is the new or the most effective model of an American corner that truly resonates with this era? And
Wow.
how has it evolved from a traditional space into something more dynamic?
Wow. Okay, let me take a moment to think about that. That is a great question. And yeah, and and to be honest, I want to congratulate you and commend you for asking that question to a wide audience as well, because I think this is important for a lot of people to hear. And I often get this professionally, not only from partners, but I also get it internally as well, because this is something that we're thinking about on the American side, and even in DC. So I want to commend you for including this question. From my perspective, right? I think the honest answer to this is going to be that I think in my opinion, the most effective American corner today is one that's going to stop thinking about itself in terms of its physical location, right? So whether it's a library, for example, or whether it's a space in a public mall, right? I mean, yes, those are locations, right? And those are physical attributes of a venue, right? But in my opinion, the most effective ones are going to start thinking of themselves as platforms. And I want to repeat that, so the most effective American corners, no matter where they are, whether it's a library or some other institution, they're not going to just think of themselves as a venue-based, venue-specific initiative, right? I want all American spaces to think of themselves as platforms. Okay. And let me get into that in a second. So the traditional model, when we think of, I'm not going to get into a history lesson of American spaces, but the traditional model over the past, generations of American spaces, was the traditional model was largely about access to information, right? Which is a lot of what you see immediately when you're a visitor to an American space. You see books, you see computers, you see journals, things that were genuinely um, hard to access or hard to get to before the internet existed, right? I mean, if you think about that, right? It's hard for the Gen Zers out there to imagine that. But I remember that world when the internet was not around and we had to physically go to libraries to get those things, right? So imagine that as a world in which American space has kind of evolved, right? And today, what's changed, right? It's information, right? Information is at everybody's fingertips now, right? So, you know, information's everywhere. Everyone can get it by and large. So what when information was limited in the previous generations is now abundant, what's left, in my opinion, as hard to get and what's scarce now is going to be quality engagement with people, right? That to me is the gap we're trying to fill now, right? In this information age, no longer is it solely important to have the books, to have the resources, to have those things. Now we want quality engagement, we want mentorship, we want real connection to opportunity. And so that's what I think is the model that's going to work for all of our American spaces, how different they are in 2026. It's hosting workshops, right? It's entrepreneurship talks, it's exchange program preparation, creative projects with creative partners, in embracing new technologies, bringing those perspectives into the corner, bringing those tools bringing the experts who know, cutting edge things into the corner. So it's shifting now. So to make a long story short, it's shifting now from a place where you don't just consume content, but you're going to create it. And I think a perfect example is like this podcast, right? Actually a perfect example of that evolution of what American Corners and American Spaces are doing in the modern age now, right? You're not just sitting in a corner reading a pamphlet about America. You're actually producing something. And this is a dynamic exchange, and I'm not going to call myself an expert, but you're with someone and we're exchanging information, we're exchanging ideas that an audience wouldn't necessarily get from maybe opening a book, right? But there is value in that too. And there's a space for it all. But I think what's changed is information was limited before, and now it's quality engagement and content.
Okay, that is right. Now I know how it feels to be a podcaster, like talking to someone that has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think it is amazing to see the evolution and how the technology
yes.
makes everything possible, like we are doing
Yeah.
right now. I
Right.
I never
Right.
imagined myself to make a podcast like this.
That's right.
Same
Yeah,
here.
That's right.
yeah. And I think Pak Anup, is that really what is that? Really hard to measure the success of each American corner from under your supervision? Maybe is it since you are talking about the shifting right
Hmm.
from
Yeah.
the previous American corner? Is
Right.
that the number of the visitors that you are paying attention, or is that any deeper meaning, like deeper aspect, like the
Hmm.
impact that American Corner brings to the community?
Ooh, that's a great question. And this question gets at the heart of what we at least within the embassy. I sit in I work. I'm part of the public affairs section, right? And so we work in public diplomacy, and American Spaces is one program or initiative in a wider range of public diplomacy programs that we have, right? And I say that because public diplomacy is inherently hard to measure, right? Because we're talking about measuring people to people programs and outcomes, right? So numbers, they do matter, reach matters, but they're only the starting point, right? So what we're really looking for in public diplomacy programs, American Spaces included, is behavioral change and sustained connection, right? And so how do you measure that, right? There's not an easy answer because you're talking about lives, and you're talking about people tracking people over time, and how they're all the nuances that led to their life decisions to change based on one program, right? How do you do that, right? It's hard. And so, when we talk about American Spaces, for example, one of the challenges is, like, for example, did a student who came to an American Corner English program, for example, gain enough confidence to apply for a US exchange program, right? Or did someone who attended a workshop here, did they go on to start something in their community, right? Or did a young person in Pontianak form a connection, even if it's digitally, with a peer in the United States, right? So those are the kinds of outcomes that are going to tell us the story, the narrative that a particular American Corner is doing its job. But it's also hard to measure. So we also look at alumni networks, right? Like, many of our most impactful American Corner participants go on to become exchange program alumni,
Yeah.
right? As American Corner Pontianak knows, we do a lot of alumni programs, and those alumni become ambassadors for the relationship between U.S. and Indonesia, right? For years to come, sometimes decades. So I guess all this to say, I guess when I visit an American Corner and I meet a former participant who's now a community leader or a teacher or an entrepreneur, I guess that's the data point that resonates most with me, because it's looking at what's the result? What's the end result of all the long arc of what they've gained um, from the tools and the behaviors and the connections that the American Corner fostered? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Okay.
But you know what, Pa Anup and Miss, um, a lot of my friends said that they really like when they come into Amcor because
Wow.
there's a lot of book. Like they love read the book in here, and then since we have like music lab, so we
Yeah.
can learn English
Yeah.
through music.
Music. And also we have eLibrary USA as
Yes.
well.
Right.
Yeah,
And
like
I
the people
Right.
can access it freely at American Corner Pontianak. Yeah. I think because we have so many facilities and we need to, tell more and louder to tell, come to American Corner and see what you can do and improve here. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think, building off of that, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I think, there is a place in
Yeah.
modern, for where American spaces are going for those kinds of resources, right? For
Yeah.
books, for music, for those things that we think are traditional. But I think the new direction for for us with those kinds of resources is creating meaningful connection using those resources,
Yeah.
right? So bringing in, no longer is it just a program about a book, but sort of designing some kind of meaningful connection and engagement around these kinds of resources, right? In a way that um, it fosters critical thinking, in a way that it fosters behavioral change, right? Not just there's always going to be a section, um, um, a segment of audiences that are going to come in and look for resources and information. Of course, that is a bedrock of what we do. But I think when we're talking about sort of the relevance and sort of the direction as we get ahead into the future, I think it's going to be, I think, teaching people, showing younger generations what you can do with these resources, right? And how to think and engage around them and use them to solve real life problems, right? So,
Love
yeah.
to hear that, Pak Anu. We love to be adaptive and we love to promote our program as well. Like um, we are going to have a big event next month, which is the esports
Yes.
development, and I
Yes.
think it's quite um, Gen Z things. I know, like so many young people play game, and maybe it is interesting, yeah, to all of you, our viewers at home, if you are interested to come to see the esports development program from
Yes.
American Corner Spaces Indonesia. You can come to American Corner, and we are love to explain the program to you. And yeah, I think from your explanation, Pak Anup, I think it's really heartful, yeah, to see the strategy and all of your efforts that you put behind the American Corner in Indonesia. And I think it's clearly it is not an easy task, and indeed um, it is a big job and need to collaborate to with everyone, yeah.
Right.
And I think as we head into our final segment, Pak Anup, I have one question for you. What is your big hope for the future of American Corners in Indonesia?
Wow. I could do a whole podcast just based on this answer to this question. But no, I kid. But I think okay, so one of the biggest reasons I consider myself so fortunate to be the reps, and I'll just in Indonesia, for example, is because I can visit so many diverse parts of Indonesia, right? Where we're located, right? I visited Pontianak. I visited all of them, but I've been from Pontianak to Semarang to Ambon to Makassar, right? Surabaya, all over Jogja, Padang. And what's interesting to me is even though I'm based in Jakarta every day, right? It can be a little limiting, right? As we all are, where we live and work, that's right. But what's always struck me is, and one of the other reasons, the passions that I have for this job and why I chose this career is because I can see through all my travels around Indonesia and even with other countries is the hunger for connection and opportunity is the same, right,
Yeah.
amongst young people. Human beings are human beings, right? So whether I'm talking to a room full of students in at America in Jakarta, for example, or to a room full of students in American Corner Ambon, all the way out east, radically different, environments, but that those same desires are there, right? For them to better their lives and Pontianak too, right? So I say that because the next frontier for me about this is sort of the infrastructure of opportunity, right? Is not the same for everybody, right? So, being in Jakarta, it's easier for people here, or maybe in Surabaya, for example, in bigger cities to have opportunities at their fingertips or that kind of thing. And so I think for me, a guiding light going forward is to try and think about ways in which the American Corners can try to correct or close the equity gap, right, between opportunities that are able to be more readily available to people in Jakarta, for example, versus Pontianak or Ambon, right? It's just that much harder, right? Because realities are different. So, but I say that because ensuring equity is hard. I can't create different conditions, or, I wish I don't have a magic wand to change things. But what I can do is make sure that every corner has the same access to the same resources, right? Or the same speaker networks, or the same high quality programming, or strategic planning
Yeah.
that everyone else does. And that's the way I sort of see my value, is sort of providing that for us to create templates for programs, templates for ideas that are scalable, because I think that's the real tangible way in which we can help bridge gaps in equity and in access across where we are. And I think that's one of the most important things for me personally and professionally. So,
Okay, thank you so much, Pa Anub. That was such an insightful conversation. It's really inspiring to hear that American Corner is more than just a facility. It's a platform for us, the youth, to grow, to connect, and to think globally. You heard
mhm.
it, guys. The door is
Yes.
open, the resources are free. The missing thing is you.
Yeah, I love your spirit. I love your energy. And yeah, thank you so much
No
for Pa
problem.
Anup. Everybody here, please give it up to Pa Anup. Thank you so much, Pa Anup, for sharing your journey and all the essentials about American Corner today with us. You've truly helped us to understand about American Corner and how we here at American Corner Pontianak can perform and can do the best to our community. And I think to our viewers, Dila, you want to say hi? Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for being part of episode 1. Don't forget to follow our social
Social media
media and
at
to stay
Amcor.
at Amcor Pontianak to stay updated on the next episode.
And I'll
Yay!
just say thank you again for having me, and all of you out there for watching. I really enjoyed this. And I commend your efforts and continue the great work you're doing. I'll say two more things. One, I don't do this work alone. I mean, it's a big job, but I have a great staff here that also help me do what I'm able to do. So nothing is a one-man show. And then secondly, I just want to leave everybody, even those out there who may not be, this is their first time hearing about American Corners and that kind of thing. Don't think about American Corners as just American. It's yours. And, in an ideal world, it's it's an American Corner is a community corner. So I'll leave with that.
Yay. Thank you, Pak
Thank-
Anup. I think let's wrap it up our talk today.
Yep.
I'm Enda,
And I'm Dila.
and this was
Podcast 101, The Essentials.
We'll see you at the corner. Bye bye, everyone.